How's that spooky movie? Is it a hit? Don't ask Lenka, she'll say I haven't seen it.
Movie that I've never seen before. This is a live stream. I'm Alenka Zach.
Alenka, what's your favorite scary movie?
What?
I'm not hiding myself properly.
You're not even.
The microphone cord was too short.
So happy that this happened. I'm not even too sure how to react. Will?
No, I know. Oh, okay. This didn't go well.
This is Will, everyone. In case
And I'm Will.
You guys, we're back after a super long hiatus. And as you can see, we're doing fine. We're doing just fine, okay? Will's gonna try to figure out what the fuck just happened. We figured it out. It's fine. We're fine.
We are fine. We're super fine.
Yeah.
Welcome to the haven't streamed it spooky movie podcast. As you can see, I've got some gags going on tonight, folks.
I'm so nervous.
Yeah. We're streaming from 5 o'clock till whenever we're done. We're doing 4 movies. And at 10 o'clock, we are live watching Psycho Gorman with Stephen Blahos, the voice of Psycho Gorman himself. But first, we're talking about a really classic horror movie, kind of the archetype of lots of movies, with our 2 very good friends from Murmurs from the Morgue, Bri and Kelly.
Hello.
Yeah.
How's
Thank
it
you
going?
guys. Oh, it's going great. Thank you guys so much for having us. It's wonderful to be back.
It's great to have you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's start right away. Why did you pick this particular movie? And what movie are we talking about? If it wasn't already clear.
If it wasn't abundantly clear already. Well,
we're talking about 1996's Wes Craven's Scream.
Hell yeah, player.
Yeah. And as you so previously mentioned, Will, it is an absolute classic. It sort of changed the slasher genre in a really big way. It outlined the rules that we all knew were there, but never really spoke about. It is one of Wes Craven's best films, though he's got some absolute bangers. So that's a really hard line to draw. It's a classic. It's super fun. And we love this movie.
Yes.
Wow.
I agree with everything she said.
That's why you guys are co-hosts, right?
Yep.
I don't think we agree with everything we say.
Not usually.
No. She hates me. I'm indifferent.
Right.
Yes, Kelly and I share the same brain, so.
Yeah, we just sort of split it down the middle and then divide it. And then it's really hard because it's hard shipping it to Florida. Right. Took a while to get there, but you know.
She got it eventually.
I realized I forgot to mention another special guest, which is our theme song creator and resident punching bag, we like to call him because we make fun of him all the time. Zach.
They punch me.
Nope. Sorry. There you go.
He doesn't trust me with the mic.
I don't.
We had one time, I don't know if you guys remember.
One time.
Where Zach got really fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 2 times.
And I got angry, legitimately angry. Like if you guys ever listen to that episode, it's Casino Royale. This is legit anger.
Yeah.
I was very upset at him.
Very.
But you know, it's all about all about the views. It's all about the content, the cool and the drinks.
Yeah. Well, we're not talking about the drink yet, Zach.
Oh.
Get the process ready.
Trying to deflect.
You don't record with us very often, but we actually, the next portion we want to talk about is Alenka. What do you know about this movie, if anything?
Yeah. I think I know this movie relatively well. How could you not? Which, you know, it's always a little surprising with me. But it's this guy that Drew Barrymore's. This guy's going around killing people in a mask, basically, and Drew Barrymore gets killed, and then I'm sure he kills more people, and he just likes it a little bit, and they're just trying to figure out who he is and stop him, I'm guessing.
Take it away, Zach.
Oh, okay. There once was a man who killed Drew Barrymore. She screamed, and that's the name of that movie. Is that this is the movie we're doing? It is in fact Scream.
Yeah.
I was right. I was right.
And so for those of you listening and or watching, we're going to throw to Zach whenever we feel like it to
Whenever we
improvise a
want.
song about what we just talked about.
And it's
We'll
going
make
to
fun
be
of him after.
fantastic every single time. Everyone.
I mean,
Bangers.
yeah, what would you guys think? That's essentially what happens in this movie. A guy kills people, one of which being Drew Barrymore.
DB.
Yeah, that's accurate. You're not incorrect on that.
Like, is there anything else that really happens in this movie? Like, come on.
like
Come on.
I guess you'll have to find out.
Yeah,
I guess I
exactly.
Next week.
You
no.
shall learn. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as always, we have a special drink
Yeah.
for tonight's episode. I've got, I don't know if the viewers can see it. I've got a great cup. It says Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween.
Ooh,
And I just
Halloween.
have our gorgeous
Ooh.
merchandise, which one day might be for sale.
Yeah, one day. So does Zach.
Yes.
So does Zach. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
The drink I'm calling classically Ghostface. I think actually,
Oh.
Kelly, you had the best Ghostface out of all of us because
Yeah, yours was
my-
quite impressive.
yeah, our chocolate chunks like drip to the bottom.
Felt so great.
Yeah.
But essentially, you're going to take, we used unsweetened vanilla oat milk. I believe, Kelly, you did as well.
I did.
Vodka. I put a little bit of maple syrup in mine. You put a little simple
Ooh.
syrup. And you
We're
put
health
chocolate
conscious.
chunks, chocolate wafers, or if you're like Kelly, you grate that shit so that
Yeah,
you
you
can make
do.
the scream face
Yeah.
in her drink. And if you check out her Instagram story right now, or no, her Instagram post,
My feed.
it'll be up. It'll be up
Oof.
on her feed if you're
She
listening to
loves
this,
us.
next week
It's
when I
you.
release it. That is like the MVP drink of this movie because this did not.
This
work
didn't turn out.
No, not at all.
And I think it's
nice
also
'cause it's
pretty
like a
potent.
snack.
Yeah, exactly. You get the best of both worlds. You get snacky time and you get drinky time.
Yeah, definitely. I originally said cream.
Yeah, it's really not good.
It's not good.
It tastes like Play-Doh. I don't know why.
Yeah, well,
Why does it taste
that's
like
because I free pour, and then I don't know what they taste like until we're actually recording because that
Oh, God.
produces the best content. And Zach's not having a good time with
He's
it.
not
No.
enjoying it.
Ooh, vodka.
Yeah, like do you taste the Play-Doh? Like, do you
I
get
know
what
it
I'm
does have
saying?
like a bit of a
Play-Doh-y taste.
plasticky.
Like, what the fuck, Will?
Sorry.
Next time you've got to use the sweetened oat milk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
true. It's the unsweetenness of it.
It also
all.
burns.
Mm.
But Zach has diabetes. So.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, unsweetened then.
Zach has diabetes. Zach has diabetes. Zach has diabetes, so he doesn't need
Extra sugar.
extra sugar.
Yeah.
Carbs, complex carbs. You can.
Well, yeah, that's our drink. So, make one if you want.
It's growing
But maybe
on me,
not. Just
actually.
have a white Russian. In fact, just, I don't know,
Mm.
get one of those mud shakes or some shit. That's probably
Right.
better.
Yeah, that would have been much better.
100%.
But now that the drink's out of the way, I think it's time to talk about this movie.
To you.
Kelly and Bri, how does this movie begin?
Shit, it's already happened.
Yes.
Well,
Well, it begins, firstly, after a very, very dramatic and very, very 90s intro title, that says Scream, and then they have a scream, and it's doing like these
Oh.
graphics that are like weird and very 90s. But then immediately we jump into the action. It cuts to a bob-haired blonde Drew Barrymore.
Mm.
Okay,
Picking up.
yes.
Yes, the Drew Barrymore, you know
I'm
her.
familiar.
She picks up a ringing phone.
yeah.
Oh
And
yeah.
she's super chill on the phone. The guy on the other island is like, "Hey, what are you doing?" She's like, "Well, hi there. What number are you trying to reach?" And he goes, oh, I don't know if this is, who are you? And she's like, oh, you might have the wrong number. It happens. Take it easy. And she's super
Stop.
chill.
This
Ending
is
the
super
conversation,
funny.
which is like, take it easy. And then hangs it up. She's being incredibly accommodating with this person because he calls back immediately. She talks with him. She's like, sure, let's engage this creeper in conversation. And she does.
And if you didn't get it when I, tried to do my gag, his voice is very much just like, oh, hey, what's going on? Like, it's kind of like gruff and like cool, like sexy almost.
It's
Like my
special.
voice, right? guys?
So she's talking about what she's up to, which is making some Jiffy Pop on the stove because, again, it's the 90s. And she's going to pop in a scary movie for the evening because that's what one does commonly.
Yeah.
And, of course, the guy on the phone asks the age-old question, what's your
favorite scary movie?
Oh, I thought he was going to ask what her sign was. What's your sign?
What's your sign?
And the thing is she's like, well, I don't really know. And he's like, well, you have to have a favorite. And my immediate reaction was like, no, you don't. It's very hard to pick a favorite. And I had like a very like intense reaction to that because I felt personally attacked by that idea that you have to have a favorite. But so he's talking to her and he's like, well, what's your name? And she says, well, why do you want to know my name? And he says, because I want to know who I'm looking at. And the music goes,
Ooh.
and there's a tone shift.
Dun dun.
Dun, dun,
Yes,
dun.
very tough.
Creepy.
An immediate like boom.
Yes.
I think I have a drone. Here, let's find the drone.
Ooh.
Yeah. It doesn't sound like that, but that's kind of the tone shift.
Like the air just like
thought I
seeps
did
out of the room and it's like, ooh, dramatic.
Cool.
So as you can
So
imagine
gross.
from that, she
Mhm.
hangs up the phone on him and she starts getting freaked out, running around the house, turning off the lights, locking the doors. Her popcorn all this time popping ominously in the background.
That is
Yeah.
so hilarious.
Oh, really?
It literally goes like this big. I can actually
Yeah.
like
No way.
use my hands to show how big because we're live
Does
streaming
it
right
get
now.
that
Yeah.
big?
Yeah, it's like big. And
popcorn
It gets
gets
ridiculous.
if you've seen Scary Movie,
Blood in
they
real
spoof
life.
that. They make it like 3 times as big, but honestly, it's just as big and just as hilarious when you see how big this popcorn is.
But my major concern is like she has too many exterior doors in this house and they
Very.
are all
Oh.
unlocked,
Yeah.
which is
Oh.
a terrible plan.
That's
She
does
murder.
Sam's, Sam's favorite part is the popcorn. She
Yes.
laughs so hard when she's on Scream. We watched Scary Movie as well, and she laughed at that, but she loved the big popcorn.
Yeah.
So then he calls back again. And of course, we forgot to mention that she's on one of those like classically huge 90s phones that's
The
like
cordless
has like
one.
a huge like square thing.
Yep.
And immediately he's threatening and he's like, I'm going to kill you, Blondie. Blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
he's like, I'm gonna get you like a fish.
Ooh.
Again, it's all very dramatic.
Very.
It's very, very dramatic.
And he says that he's like taunting her on the phone and he's talking about her boyfriend and then she turns on the light and he's got her boyfriend all tied up outside and I believe his name is
What?
Steve because of
Yeah.
course
Yeah,
his name is Steve.
Steve.
Yeah.
No, before that, she says,
Stove.
my boyfriend is on the way and that he's big
Oh,
and he plays
shit.
football and he's going to kick the shit out of you.
Oh no.
That's my
And
favorite
then-
line.
And then we see Steve
I
all
mean, Drew
tied up.
Barrymore
And,
can't
Stove
be
all
threatening. I
tied
feel
up.
like I don't know.
No.
She's not a threatening like actress.
No.
no, even when she's screaming at you, you're like, oh, you.
Oh, Drew.
You're-
Drew, cut it out. So they
Then-
decide that what they want to do is they want to play a game of movie trivia for Steve's life.
Oh, come on.
So
I
if
would
she can answer-
literally. Steve would be so dead.
He'd be so
He'd be
dead.
so dead if it was me.
Is this for real? This is the movie?
Yeah, this is
is
what
a movie.
happens.
This is legit.
Will Zach
Wow.
hasn't seen it either.
Yeah, Zach.
Yeah.
This is also the Zach hasn't seen a podcast as well.
Amazing. But so they're going to play a game of horror movie trivia because she's a horror fan. She's watched a bunch of horror movies. And so he asks a couple questions, such as who is the killer in Halloween? And she's like, oh, Michael Myers, obviously.
Mhm.
And he's like, okay. Who is the killer in Friday the 13th? And she goes, oh, Jason Voorhees, obviously. And he goes, no, you're wrong. And it's like
Right.
the original one is Pamela Voorhees and Mrs. Voorhees did it.
I learned about that.
You did.
Yeah.
You did
And-
learn about that.
Yeah. So that was the lesson that she learned as well. And it got her boyfriend killed.
Oh no way.
So never make that mistake.
How did he die?
He got
What
gutted
did-
like a fish.
Oh
He
yeah,
did?
his
Yeah.
intestines just like
We see
fall
it?
out. Yeah, well,
We
the
see
lights go.
it.
We never actually see what the killer looks like yet.
No.
The
We
lights
just
go
see
out,
the-
and then it comes back up, and his
He's
guts
like-
are just spilling out. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's intense. Did you
It's
know,
very
fun
intense.
fact, that we've got literally 8 meters of intestines inside of our bodies?
Oh,
Isn't that disgusting? 8
so many
meters.
meters.
I know.
Little scientist over here.
I know.
Make some sausage.
Isn't that creepy?
Yeah.
It's just in there.
That is creepy.
Speaking of which, take it away, Zach.
We got 8 meters of intestines in our bodies, and if you stretch it all out inside itself, you can make a whole lot of sausages.
I'm so upset.
That's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah.
Fuck
So
you, Zach.
Steve's dead. Now she's
Yes.
real.
Yes.
And-
So then
Oh,
she gets
she's
one last
upset.
question. And
Mhm.
the question is, what door is the killer at?
Oh, come on. She's got so
And-
many.
At this point, she's not playing. She doesn't want to play, so she just says, no more. And so he throws a chair through the window that she's standing right next to, indicating he's like near the patio area. She runs into the kitchen. By this point, very smoky, mysteriously smoky from the popcorn.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
it's
Yeah.
it's
The big
it's
ass popcorn.
atmospheric.
Right.
Also,
Very
side
atmospheric.
note, she's holding the phone the entire time she's doing this. It is a cordless phone, and not for
Okay.
1 second is she like, I'm gonna dial 911. Like, not
Uh-huh.
for 1 second does that happen in this
No,
in this
she
whole
doesn't
scene.
even hang up. She's still
Having
talking to
a
him.
conversation.
She doesn't want to
She's
be rude.
polite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she tries to take off towards a car that's like driving past, and she's like, "Oh shit, a car! This could be my savior." But the killer runs
Isn't
up
it?
behind her and
Oh.
stabs her from behind her. It's all very iconic, and they recreated the scene just a little bit in Fear Street 1994, which is on Netflix. But it's all very
I
iconic.
gotta
And she
watch
gets
that.
like really super stabbed,
Yes.
and it's very
sad
dramatic.
music plays. Yes.
Very sad music plays.
Yeah.
And it's her parents in the car.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And they're driving up into the house.
Yes,
So they
and
just see her dead?
yeah, so Kevin Williamson, who's the writer of this movie, goes absolutely hard in this because the parents come home and they walk in and they see the house in an entire set of disarray, and they're like, "Oh no, what's
The
happening? Where's our
popcorn
daughter?"
on fire.
Popcorn on fire. There's
Oh,
furniture
yeah.
everywhere. There's broken glass. And they're like, "Oh no, what happened to our daughter?
Mhm.
We have to find our baby girl."
Yeah.
And then they go out the front door and they see her eviscerated, guts falling out,
Oh,
hanging
yeah.
from a tree.
Oh my-
Is it
super
by
mega
her
dead.
8 meter long intestine? No, it's not by her intestine. She's not hung by her intestine.
No, it is a rope.
That
It's a
would be
sausage
very
roll.
Sausages
innovative,
or a
though.
nose.
Yeah, you use the whole body when you do a murder sometimes. So they react to, they hear her dying on the phone as she's getting stabbed as
Yeah.
well. Like they hear her on the phone. It's all very melodramatic and
Wait, how
Very
do they
sad.
hear her? I'm so
Because they
confused.
go
I cut
to
back
pick-
because they go to pick up the phone.
They go to pick up the phone
Where's
to call
the phone?
911.
Still in her
Oh.
hand.
There are two
Okay.
phones.
There's
So,
two phones.
You know
Okay.
how like when you are in the same house and you pick up the phone and someone
Right,
else is
yeah,
on the
no, yeah.
line,
Back
you,
in
you
those
can
days.
hear
Back in the
them.
90s.
Yeah.
The landlines.
Yeah. So they hear her
Yeah.
dying and they're like, "Oh shit!" And then they go outside and they find the body. And they're like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
And then
But
we
also,
immediately
one thing
yes.
I want to say is that Ghostface immediately,
Yes.
he's such an uncoordinated killer.
Oh,
He's
yes.
always like, it's almost like
Yes.
slapstick the way he's slipping and
Yeah.
sliding around, like falling
Funny.
into things and like getting
Stop.
kicked back. And anytime he gets kicked back, he
like,
fucking like,
"Ugh."
throws the arms out.
Yeah,
He's
it's so
just
funny.
Big fall.
His name
big
is
falls.
Ghostface and not Scream.
No one ever calls him Ghostface in the movie, but that's what he's
That becomes
colloquially all
canon.
named.
Yeah.
Oh,
not
does it?
to be
Okay, yeah, it
confirmed,
does.
not to be confused with Ghostface Killah, who is a part of the Wu-Tang Clan from 1991.
Very
Sure.
true. Very true.
Very,
Any
very
relation?
true.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
Perhaps.
I wish I could bring up a fun fact. Fun fact, it's not Ghostface Killer.
Well, fun fact. Also, like the fun face, the face,
Ghostface
the
mask,
mask,
yeah.
the fun Ghostface mask was actually they picked it up at like this costume place called, I think it was called Fun World, and the mask was called Peanut Eyed Ghost, like peanut eyed
This-
ghost, because it looks like big peanut eyes. And the reason they picked it up is because they wanted to have this idea that like the killer could be anyone. This mask is super popular. It's not like a rare mask. It could be found at any like 5 and dime store that you go
Okay.
to find your costume.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and there you
And it
go.
looks
Look at
super
them
cheap,
peanuts.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
It's a
does.
peanut.
Them
I'm a
peanut
peanut.
eyes. Yeah.
Sure.
I don't see it, but
I literally hate
yes,
this.
the knife.
Oh, perfect.
Can you be careful, please? when you're adjusting that? Like,
the butter
ah.
knife. Oh, that's not a butter
It's
knife.
not a butter
It's not
knife,
a butter
bro.
knife.
It's
This is
legit.
A
I'm
knife.
just gonna get that out of here.
I won't hurt anyone. No.
But in
yes,
the
that's the
yes.
beginning. Drew dies, which is like
Drew dies.
the biggest fact
Drew
everyone
gone.
pretty much knows now.
Yeah,
Is
because
that-
she's also like the biggest star at the time,
Right.
and they
Yeah.
have her like on the billing. They're like, "Guess what?
Yeah.
We're gonna psycho this." And,
Yeah, and
got her
yeah,
like
they-
a fish.
Yeah.
yeah.
Gross.
Yes.
And then we
So-
smash cut.
Yes, immediately we we cut back to another girl. And this girl, Neve Campbell, she's in her bedroom and she is wearing perhaps the frumpiest sleep gown in existence.
Yes.
It is very frumpy. It's very important, I think, to know how frumpy the sleep gown she's wearing is.
Okay.
She looks so studious, like such a good girl. She's typing away on her computer that's probably like 5 feet by 5 feet big because it was the 90s and technology was ancient. So she's typing away. She's doing her homework. She's being very studious. And then she hears a sound at the window. She goes, ah! And then
She goes up to the window, yes, and her boyfriend pops up.
Skeeto Rich.
Yes. Her boyfriend, the classic bad boy 90s, greasy hair.
Lovely.
This dude's greasy,
emo.
though.
Yeah,
So
no, he's so
greasy.
greasy. But it's like
So
greasy
greasy.
in such an endearing way.
It's
Like,
true.
You just
Like-
want to shower him or something.
What's this actor's name again?
Skeeto
it's
Rich.
Skeet. It's Skeet.
Skeet.
That's his name.
His name
Yes.
is Skeet.
Yes.
Yikes.
Let's just ruminate on that for a fact. Take it away, Zach.
I like this.
Oh boy. Skeet. That's the name of him. He's really scary when he pops up. Skeet. He's boyfriend to the girl who she knows him. Yeah, I don't know what this is.
I hope we don't get copyright infringement for that.
We better not,
that
because
fucking melody.
It was not that long.
my default will be to change the lyrics of
Many
an
regrets.
actual song.
that's amazing.
Yeah. So there's Skeet, and kind of at this point we're introduced to all the main characters. Skeet appears, and
Skeet appears, and he's like,
he wants to get busy.
yeah, he was like, I was
Oh.
at home watching television. The
I got
Exorcist was
wow.
on. It got
horny.
me thinking about you.
Yeah.
Because
Super
nothing
corny
makes me
jokes.
hornier than watching The
Yeah.
Exorcist.
Right. Yeah. No,
Wait,
he
he
has
says
this whole
this?
speech. Yes, that's an
Wow.
exact line.
Mhm.
And then
It
he has
is.
this whole speech about how their relationship started out as a rated R movie. And that nowadays they're edited for television.
Oh, wow. He's
Mhm.
such a prick.
Yeah.
He's being
Fuck
so
that guy.
pushy. And then they
Yeah.
make
What a
out in like a
piece
really
of
like
shit.
slow jam version of Don't Fear the Reaper plays. And it's very like, oh, this is so
Yeah.
90s. That's great. It's like a softcore version of Don't Fear the
Gonna
Reaper.
fuck.
But then-
Their
Essentially, yeah.
relationship.
Yeah. But then we cut over to the school, the high school, and there's press and there's police.
Well, actually,
Yes.
she like screams immediately, like when she first did
Oh,
you
yes,
talk
and-
about this? Yeah,
And
the dad.
I tell her the
comes.
scream, but the dad comes in and he's
Yeah.
like, I heard a scream. And she's like, no, it's all good. Don't look behind me.
Yeah.
It's all fine. And he's like,
And-
okay, well, here's something you need to know about. I'm going on vacation or no business trip. I'm going on business trip to go do a thing and I will be gone for days
I will
and you
be
will be
on
alone.
business.
Yeah.
I
Exactly
will be
3
on
days
business. And there's
I do
pizza money on the
business.
table or something probably.
doing
Oh,
business
dope.
stuff.
Yeah.
He's
So-
a man.
Yeah. And then
Daddy's away.
and then after she has a very strict rule where her boyfriend can't go into her underwear. So
Mhm.
Huh?
he
Like
tries
underneath the underwear. Not,
Oh,
not
yeah.
like
OTP only,
he can't
over the
rummage through
pants.
her drawers of
I
underwear.
thought-
The dad has
That's
this
what
rule?
I thought too.
No, not the dad.
Oh.
She has this
has.
rule.
No.
I thought their
no, no.
relationship started as rated R.
It did.
It
That
did.
includes going under the undie wear.
But then she
I
instituted
don't know
the
what
rule.
they interpret as rated R, honestly.
Yeah.
But
How
It was
old
the
are these people
90s.
supposed to be?
I think they're probably supposed to be, what, 17?
They're supposed to be
were
like,
seniors
in
yeah,
high school.
17. They're seniors in high
They're
school.
probably still using the base
Yeah.
system back then.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly.
Uh,
But because he's a
Yeah.
huge movie nerd, he's like, let's
First
make
base,
it
second
movie ratings. Yeah.
NC-17, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
and then it's so funny because he's like, "How about we do some over the clothes stuff?"
Yeah.
Funny.
Because
That's-
nothing's
But-
sexier than that.
Whatever you
Yeah.
can get, right?
Whatever, yeah. When you're
don't
Billy
care.
Loomis, whatever you can get. But
Billy
anyway,
Loomis.
so
Oh, his name is Billy
his Billy name
Loomis,
is
yeah.
Billy Loomis. Because Halloween. Anyways, so we go over to the school and there's cops and there's reporters everywhere. And they're like, for some reason, not at the house that the murder happened. They're like at the high school,
Because
which
they're
is
like,
not.
your friend got murdered. This
Yeah,
is good
tell us
television.
about
Tell
it.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Well,
Gail
we're
Weathers.
essentially,
Yeah.
is that the first person we're introduced
Yeah,
to? Or the
Gail
students?
Weathers is the
Gail
next one.
Weathers.
Yeah.
Gail Weathers.
And
Gail
Tatum.
Weathers and Tatum.
And
So
Tatum.
Gail Weathers, she is in this neon skirt suit. She is
Courtney
a
Cox.
reporter, played by Courtney
Cute.
Cox, and she's like super like she wants to be a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist. She wants to be hard
Not
hitting.
yet Courtney Cox Arquette yet?
Not
Or
yet.
no, not yet.
Not yet. No.
Darn.
And
I think they met
then
here.
I think they did.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's say they did. We're gonna create their meet cute for them.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
should do like a biopic about how they met on the set of Scream, and
Yeah.
it'll be like super meta on an already meta movie. It'll be
Exactly.
great.
Right.
We've heard.
That would be so good.
So we meet Gail Weathers, the reporter. We meet Tatum, who is Sydney's best friend, and Tatum is played by Rose McGowan.
And she kind of gets Sydney caught up on the sitch, which is basically that the two people were murdered, and Sydney sat next to the girl, Drew Barrymore
her.
girl,
Right.
Casey.
Yeah.
Casey.
It's
Casey
true.
Bowers,
And they just
Steve.
like
Stove.
go on with classes as per usual. And Henry Winkler is there as the principal because Henry
Yes.
Winkler is there.
He is.
What's that?
He is the Fonz.
The Fonz from
Oh,
Happy Days.
sweet.
Or have you
Yeah.
watched Arrested Development?
Nah,
He's
nah,
their lawyer.
nah. No.
Sad.
Great.
He's
seen
he's
it,
Adam
Arrested
Sandler's
Development
dad in
edition.
Click.
You haven't seen it?
Nah.
You've seen Click, right?
Wow.
No.
You haven't seen that? Seems like a movie you'd see, but
Okay,
All right.
you
That would
don't
be a
know
good,
me.
Good one for this podcast.
At
it
any
would be,
rate,
yeah.
Click, click.
click. So
I think I know what it's about.
it's about a remote control, probably.
Click.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Probably. I can only guess.
So then Sydney is called into the principal's office to get interrogated. And you kind of get this sense that there's something behind Sydney's life that like you don't quite know yet, but people are kind of like talking in hushed tones around her.
Mm.
Weird.
Tatum is like making these mysterious statements. So you're like, what's up with Sydney?
Yeah.
Like what's going on in her life?
They're alluding to this big tragedy, but like no
Yeah.
one's saying what it is yet.
Like,
And it's
Sydney,
all very
I
like,
know
ooh.
that you don't like
Yep.
when people you know are murdered.
Yeah.
Like her mom. Totally knew it. Well, if it's her only the dad home, then where's the mom?
Her
And
mom
Wow.
could have been on a business trip.
You-
like
You've
this.
solved the mystery. You've solved the
But
case.
We're essentially we're introduced to like the cast of characters, and
Yes.
there's
There's
as
Rose
we were-
McGowan
as Tatum, and then
Tatum.
Jamie Kennedy
Jamie Kennedy and
as
what's his name?
Randy.
I thought it was Scooter for
Oh,
some reason.
It's Randy.
Randy.
Oh,
Scooter
we
is
also-
something else. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the interrogation scene, we also meet Officer Dewey.
Oh, Officer
That's
David.
right.
Arquette.
Officer
David
David Arquette, who
And then in
is
Sydney,
Tatum's brother, by the way.
Yeah.
Tatum's
Yes.
older brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
you know this because Sydney is like, "Oh, hey, Dewey," and he's like, "It's not Dewey, it's Officer whatever." When I'm wearing the outfit.
Yeah.
Officer
Officer
Tatum's
whatever.
brother.
Yeah. So we've got Rose McGowan, we've got Jamie Kennedy, we've got Matthew Lillard from 13 Ghosts, and also probably Scooby Doo and other things.
Shaggy.
fame.
Oh,
Yeah.
Shaggy. We've got
Oh.
Skeet Ulrich, who we previously mentioned. We've got Nev Campbell, who we previously mentioned. These 90s teen horror cycle movies like went off with the casting. They just basically took everyone they possibly could.
Yeah.
That was a huge teenager at the time or pretending to be a teenager at the
Huge
time.
teenager.
Teenager.
With 10 teenagers.
Were they
Several
big names at the time?
quotations.
They were kind of big names, but they were
They were
kind
like
of
up and coming, I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
cannot imagine that these people were teenagers, though.
No,
No,
Not
no,
at all.
no.
definitely not.
Especially Henry Winkler. Yeah.
Yes, but him least of all. I'm pretty sure he was the closest to 17. But so, anyways, they're sitting around, they're having a conversation about how
They're
like
having a
it could
very
only
meta
be
conversation
a very
of
meta
just like,
conversation.
You know, it's like a horror movie, and like, and
Yeah.
then Nev Campbell's like, yeah, they probably cast Tori Spelling to play me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. But they're also having like a conversation. They're like, oh, it couldn't possibly be a female killer. It has to be a male killer. Only a man could kill someone that way. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
you're not incorrect. Strangely enough. But anyway, so we are fast forwarding and Sydney is at home. She's really traumatized because of all the events that have happened. She's going to go over to Tatum's house. She's
Yeah.
waiting for Tatum to come pick her up. So she's like flipping through
watching
TV channels.
television, yeah. And Gail
Yes.
Weathers comes on and is like reporting in that classic, like, Gail Weathers here with your
Nice.
report.
With my neon pantsuit.
Yeah.
Yes.
And essentially, we find out that not Tatum. What's Nev Campbell's
Sydney.
character? Sydney. Yes.
Sydney
Sydney's,
got
Sydney's mother was
Yeah.
murdered almost a year ago to that day.
Oh,
raped
wow.
and murdered.
Raped and murdered.
Yeah, they go
and-
hard in this movie.
And then, is Scooter the alleged killer or no?
no, his name
No,
is
it's Weather, or what is it?
his name is Cotton.
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 It's-
Cotton. Yeah.
Scooter, Skeet, Cotton. Like there's. I'm
There's
not
an-
going to say what kind of name they are, but you know.
Gale Weathers, yeah. They're great names.
So Sydney's home. She's channel flipping. She has this little thing come across talking about like, oh, this 1 year ago, very soon, we're very close to the anniversary because it was 1 year ago. This lady was raped and murdered, and
Yikes.
holy heck, does Kevin Williamson go hard with these storylines?
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, so she's at home waiting to get picked up by Tatum, and then the phone rings.
Uh-oh.
And it's Tatum.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, wait, Zach, take it away.
Yes.
Just the phone. Just the phone noise. Yeah, that's the phone noise.
How 90s phones sounded.
Yeah, exactly.
So Tatum calls and she's like, hey, girl, I'm coming over relatively soon. She's like, all right, that's fine. So she hangs up. And then the phone rings again. And she picks it up and she's like, are you on your way over yet? And then all of a sudden, it is the voice.
Come on.
The sexy, creepy voice. That's like,
Hey, what are you doing? Right?
and she's
Or
all
Right?
something along those lines. And she's super spookied.
Well, she's spooked,
she-
but she's
she
also
thinks
like
it's-
thinks it's Randy or
Yeah, she thinks it's Randy,
yes.
and so she's like, "Oh, you're not fooling me. Like, get out of here, Randy."
Because,
you
like,
should keep that
backstory-
voice. It's super
Fucking
sexy.
Randy.
Randy is a huge movie nerd. So like anytime
Yeah.
there's anything that's coming up with killers, they're like, oh, Randy. Just thinking it could be him because he really likes horror movies. But anyway,
Yeah.
she's on
And
the
they talk
phone
about horror movies.
a lot. It's
Yeah.
very meta
Yeah.
and great.
Yeah.
It's all about like these are not your typical horror movie tropes, while also creating like so many horror movie tropes.
Interesting.
at the same
Yes.
time.
Right. Yeah. And
Cool.
she's even like, "Oh, I don't really like horror movies. They're like so predictable and like nothing fun happens in them."
Yeah, she's
Because
like, the girl
she-
always runs up the stairs
Yeah.
and like does all these stupid things. And then suddenly Ghostface pops in because she's on the phone with him. And she runs up the stairs just as she said she wouldn't do, but she
Yeah.
does.
Like he's just in the house.
He's
He
hiding in a
bursts. Like, right
closet.
away.
He like
Yeah.
bursts right through.
What the
I don't know.
fuck?
We don't know how long he was in that closet.
He just goes, ah. Like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, like that. Just like that.
Just
So
like
she runs up the stairs and she's like, she gets to a computer and it's super high tech for the 90s. She's like dialing like call 911
What the fuck?
and it calls 911 or something, but it's super high tech.
Then she like looks around. He's not at the door anymore.
No.
And so then all of a sudden, at the window, she hears a sound, and it's Billy, her boyfriend, again.
No.
Skeet Ulrich. He comes through the
Yes.
window and he's all like, oh, and she's like, ah. And then
But-
they're embracing.
Curious,
Yeah.
not enough time for like the killer to run out,
Yes.
change, and then
And
be
come
Billy.
back.
Yeah,
Oh.
However,
Okay.
he does drop a cell phone.
Yes.
he
Dun,
does.
dun,
And a
dun.
knife, doesn't he?
I think it's
No,
just
he
a
does
cell
not.
phone. Just a
Oh,
cell phone.
okay.
Yeah. And
Not
Sydney's
well
like,
No,
oh,
I'm thinking
fuck.
of Scary Movie. In Scary
Yeah.
Movie, he drops a cell phone, a knife,
And a
and the
knife.
mask, but he's like, it wasn't me.
But
So he
wait,
drops a
he
cell
could
phone.
have
Yeah.
had time to change though if he's just wearing a hood and a
No,
cloak.
no
You just
time, no
take it
time.
off.
No
throw
time,
it
no
off.
time.
So wait,
There's
is
no
it?
time.
There's
Is
no
it him?
time.
We don't know yet. We don't know if
Time
it's
will
him or
tell,
not.
Alenka.
But the cops think that it is him, and she
Oh, they-
thinks
yeah.
it's him because
Why do they all
he's
think it's
there.
him?
because
he's there and he
there.
has a cell
Why do the
phone. And like
cops
it's
think
the
it's him?
90s, so nobody has
And
a
he's-
cell phone.
yeah.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
Cell phones are
It is
very
also so
suspect.
moody.
Very
Yeah.
suspect.
Mhm.
So and
He
also
just uses
she
it to play Snake, old fashioned Nokia
Yeah.
Snake. That's what I did.
And to text people with T9.
Yeah, exactly. Just
Very
hitting the button
sus.
3
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
But she opens the door she goes downstairs because she's trying to run away and she opens the door and Dewey's there and he's holding up the mask and they have a mutual like scream moment and it's
What
very
the
cute.
hell?
There's
Yeah.
mutual screaming.
Because the mask
Um,
was found on the property.
Yeah, and he's all like, I
Okay.
found this stuff, this mask and this knife that I'm not holding with a glove because police work.
What?
Yeah.
Right.
It's a small LA town. Where is this based?
I think they're in LA, yeah. Or
'cause
somewhere
one
in
thing I noticed
California.
is she lives out in the like countryside in like a mansion essentially.
And, like, mountains.
In wine country. Yeah, mountains.
Yeah, it's like
and-
gorgeous. You pan around and it's like, where the fuck does this girl live and how much
Right.
money does her dad have? Because this is
Yeah.
a manor and it looks beautiful.
I mean, not enough that she still takes the regular school bus, but
That's true. But
She's
Gail
driving a
Weathers shows
BMW.
up. Gail Weathers shows up, neon pantsuit and all. She's
And the
she's all
police
being
start
berating.
taking away Billy.
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay.
And they're
And
like,
he's like, it wasn't me,
It
Sid.
wasn't me. Yeah, Sydney, help me.
and my favorite line is they're like, what are you doing with a cellular telephone, son?
Right.
Because no one has
These
one.
are like $500.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so he's very
Which is now a
insistent.
mid-tier cell phone, but
Right.
So he's very insistent. He's in one room
Right.
being interrogated. He's very insistent he didn't kill anyone. In the other room, Sydney is like being questioned and she's like looking over. They have a window there that's like not closed off. It's all very unprofessional in terms of like letting the victim and the potential killer
it's really
like
bad.
look right at each other.
Yeah, a guy who potentially murdered 2 people already.
Yeah, and they're like,
almost
just-
a third.
Let's give you eye contact.
Yeah.
And then more than that, they like after he's like, I didn't kill anybody, he like they take him out and they walk him through the room, like right behind Sydney as he's like, I didn't do it, Sid. And she's like, oh, it's like, that's extraordinarily unprofessional. I feel like you shouldn't be
Super.
walking
This
someone
is their
through
first
that way.
murder. They don't
Yeah.
They don't know what they're doing. They don't know.
Yeah, it's not their first murder. They had a murder a year ago.
year ago.
To the day.
They don't remember what they
Yeah.
did
No.
last time.
Zach, take it away. I don't know what you're going to sing about, but take it away.
Mystery chocolate.
Just guitar it.
Do it.
I just had
Just
some of the
go.
chocolate.
Continue.
Just say one word and then strum.
With the chocolate.
You're taking too long.
Yeah.
Cell phone! They are suspicious. Sorry.
Perfect.
How much did you? How much is in this?
How much chocolate?
How much?
No, how much vodka?
I free poured it, babe. I free poured it, babe.
Babe.
Okay.
Babe, I free poured
Babe.
Babe.
It's free pour, babe.
it. So they take Billy away, and he's like,
Exactly.
"Allow
Yeah.
me."
Wasn't gonna get
And then Tatum is like,
And then
"Huh,
Tatum
I'm going to take
shows
you out
up,
the
yeah.
back door.
Yeah, Dewey's like, I'll take you at the back door. Tatum, let's go. We're going to stay at Tatum's house with Dewey and Sydney, and it's going to be all fine. And they're going to sneak out the back. But Gail, being the intrepid reporter that she is,
Mhm.
she goes around back and she sees them coming out, and she like jumps out, and she's like, "Oh, Sydney, give me thoughts on things."
What a
Yeah.
bench.
And
Yeah.
it's very tense, and you don't
Mhm.
exactly know why it's so tense. But Sydney is like, "Oh, hi, Gail,"
Oh.
and Gail is like, not really. She doesn't really like react to it, but Sydney's like, "How's your book going?" And then Gail is like, "Oh, it's going great. Do you want a copy?" And then that's when Sydney clocks her and just
Oh, yeah.
knocks
Punches
her
her.
the fuck out.
Is
Yeah.
the,
Yeah.
the 1, 2, left, right. No, just the one, left hook.
Because this
Yeah.
is how we've learned that Gail
Wicked.
Weathers is writing a book about Sydney's mother's murder.
Okay.
And
she was
that's
like the first
context.
reporter to break the story
Yeah.
or whatever.
Don't you,
Yeah.
like have to get like permission from people to do that? No?
Not necessarily.
No.
No.
Only if you're like saying, that, if you're defaming them in any way.
Oh, really?
But so
Are you going to write a bad book about me?
I guess I can.
no
As long
one's
as you
going to
put the
stop
unofficial
you.
I know.
biography or
Right.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Of haven't seen a podcast.
The power
With
that-
that old, guys, we can write a biography.
It's a pamphlet.
Whatever.
So then they go back to Tatum's house with
Mhm.
Tatum, Sydney, Dewey, and Tatum is like, "Sydney, that was so badass. Like, that was so cool how you clocked her. Like,
I'll send you a copy. Bam! Is
Yeah.
the line that she repeats over and over.
yeah." And then Tatum's mom comes into the room and says that Sydney has a phone call.
Oh my
So
God,
Sydney
Toby.
goes out, picks up the phone. It's the guy.
It's
the
the
voice.
voice.
The
voice.
Yes.
She fingered the wrong guy
Oh,
because the
Yeah.
guy's on the phone, probably.
Take it away, Zach.
She fingered the wrong guy. It wasn't very fly of him to see. She didn't know where his fingers had been. She doesn't know where anyone has going.
It's not that kind of
Beautiful.
fingering, Zach.
What?
Oh.
I just heard
Kind of
fingered the
is.
wrong guy.
Yeah.
yeah.
There you go.
It's kind of
So-
like that, actually.
So
I
she's
was,
like,
I was busy trying to get the last chocolate out of my glass. I wasn't
Guys,
listening. I
before
heard
we
fingered the
started-
wrong guy, and then I realized why was she fingering him?
Before we
Hey,
started,
whatever
Zach
people are into.
promised he wasn't going to get drunk.
Yeah, he was like, I'm not going to
He
get
lied.
And Will promised he'd make me a cocktail, but I don't know what the hell this is.
Yeah, and you guys have 4 more drinks too, right?
Yeah.
Three more. Three
Buckle
more
up.
drinks.
Yeah.
Baby.
3 more
So-
drinks. Okay.
so
The
so
the
she's
dude hangs up and she's upset, and then Dewey shows up like right as she hangs
with his
up. And
gun.
he
He's
has
like,
very unhealthfully, and he has a gun. Yeah,
he's so
Bro.
ready to
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
yeah.
So we smash cut to the next day, and they're going back to school because of reasons. And there's a cameo from Linda Blair from The Exorcist. She's like playing a
Oh,
reporter,
yeah.
which is pretty great. She's
Oh my
like,
God.
"Ah." And then
No,
so
what she says, she's like, she goes up to Sydney and she says, "What is it like to almost get brutally butchered?"
And it's
Well,
like,
Which
great.
is horrible.
Not great.
Which is
That's
not nice.
tactful. That's
It's not
full of
nice.
tact.
Great question from
Right.
our reporter. Yeah.
So Sydney goes over to Gail Weathers to kind of like bury the hatchet a little bit, be like, yeah, I punched you. Sorry about that.
My bad.
So
Whoa.
they're having a conversation, and basically the conversation reveals that Gail, as we know, is writing a book about her mother's murder. And the whole thing was that Sydney had said, oh, this Cotton guy raped and killed. Cotton, I forget his last name, but his first name is Cotton.
Weary. Cotton Weary.
I-
Cotton
Joe.
Weary. His name is Cotton Weary.
Yeah, Cotton Weary.
That is
Yeah.
a name.
It is a
Okay,
name, yeah.
so
Because
Cotton
he was
Weary.
caught and we are weary of whether he's innocent.
Sure.
Or he's caught and he's weary because trial is a long and arduous process.
Right.
True. Very true.
At any rate, his name is Cotton Weary, and Sydney is pretty sure that he raped and murdered her mother. And then Gail's like, "Oh, I don't know about that. Are you sure about that?
Right.
Because like my book has kind of proven some facts that he might not be the one that raped and murdered your mother." And Sydney was like, "Oh, gasp, you bitch."
Yeah.
And
Which
then she
honestly,
roundhouse
it's
kicks him.
fair.
No.
Yeah.
I would.
I
love
would, that would be quite unfortunate if some lady was like, actually, you're wrong. And you like caused this dude to get jailed and he's going to get executed for no reason.
I'd be like, "Oh, my anxiety."
Yeah.
But
Darn.
Yeah.
But so we go inside the school, and Sydney literally runs into Billy, and she's like, "Hey, I'm sorry that I said you were a murderer.
baby.
Sorry about that, my
He
darling. We
called
still
me,
wanna
so clearly it can't be you.
can't be you. Sorry about
Yeah.
that."
But then he gets
But
all
it-
pissed off.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, but he's not pissed off about like getting arrested. He's once again pissed off that Sydney won't have sex with him because she's too caught up and too hung up on her mom, like getting murdered
know.
and everything.
Getting
Can't you
sorry,
get
raped
over-
and murdered
Yeah.
too.
Like the
Right.
horrific traumatic death of your mother a
Yeah.
year ago.
Just
Yeah,
like
like he's such a
Jesus.
Come
buzzkill.
on.
the
Essentially,
line
yeah.
is he
Actually,
literally
Zach, take it away.
says
Oh, I was really hoping.
You can skip it.
Something happened a year ago that we won't talk about. Yeah, it was really gruesome. It was really, really gruesome. Raped and murdered.
the line,
She
like he
was?
literally
Jesus.
says the words, "It's been a year. I think it's time you got over that."
Right.
yeah.
Which is
Wow.
like,
horrible.
oh, buddy, that is a
Bye,
bad look
boy.
for you.
Yeah.
Just get a new
And then
one.
she's like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry that my traumatic life is,
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
a, is a
Ruining your
burden.
perfect
Yeah,
life.
perfect existence.
Yeah. And so she runs into the bathroom in a huff, as girls so often do. And she's
Yeah.
in the bathroom, and these girls in the bathroom are like talking smack about her mom and how her mom was a
Yeah.
slut. And saying
Oh.
like her mom
But
was
she was
such a
sleeping all
slut,
over
sleeping
Why
town.
are
around.
so many
Sleeping
people
all over
talking
town.
about her mother right now?
I know.
They're so
Why?
hung up on this dead mom. Like,
It is a
come
small
on.
town.
Clearly, there's more recent deaths they could be talking about.
Exactly. But so they're
I'm sure
basically
they were
saying
calling
like,
Drew a slut too. They probably.
Yeah.
so the girls are talking smack about Sydney's mom,
But
and then
Steve was a
they
hero.
peace out.
Steve was a
Steve's
hero.
Stove.
Stove. They peace out, and then Sydney's still in the bathroom, and then suddenly,
And they insinuate that Sydney is the killer too.
Mhm,
Oh, girl.
that's true.
Oh, Zach, you have a
Jeez.
fan. Sam is just watching for Zach.
Oh, what the fuck, Sam?
Thanks, Sam.
Okay.
Can't be bad.
So,
So-
they leave.
Yes, they leave, and then Sydney is still in the bathroom. She comes out of the stall, and she starts hearing maybe this whispering sound that may be her name. So she starts looking around. She's like, "Is someone in here?" And she like looks down underneath the stalls to see if
toilet.
there's any feet, to see if there's anyone else in the bathroom. She doesn't see anyone. She
Mhm.
thinks it's okay, but then she hears the whispering again. So she looks down
What?
again, and then she sees two men's feet step down from the toilet.
Ew.
And then
Mhm.
the
one right beside
Ghostface
her?
costume.
It was two
Not
of
the
them.
2 feet.
Oh, two.
Okay.
Oh, right,
2
right.
feet.
2
Left
feet.
and
One,
right.
two.
Ah, I
Yes.
see.
One
I
of
see.
each.
Two masculine feet. They're wearing like boots, but
Yes,
yeah, women
yeah.
can wear boots.
Okay.
It is still the 90s, you know.
And then you see the Ghostface costume slide over the boots as well.
Mhm.
And you have to
And-
wonder, like, how long was he in there waiting for the chance
Right,
encounter
yeah.
that she was possibly going to come
Right.
into the bathroom and be emotionally available?
But no, but well, we find out this isn't actually him.
Oh.
this is. Oh, I mean,
Just some other
it's kind of
dude
confusing. It could be
pooping
him.
in
No,
the women's
he does
washroom?
attack. He does attack.
he does attack, but then we
Yeah.
find out that like there's students going
Yeah.
around with the Ghostface mask,
Yeah.
like
Because again,
pranking
it's so
people.
common.
This
It's
is
such
a
common
boy in the
mask.
women's washroom, though. What's he doing?
Waiting
If
to
it's
be
not,
spooky.
if it's not
Just
the
shitting in
scream,
peace. Just shitting in peace.
I feel
While
like this is
standing.
definitely the real Ghostface, but
Yeah.
there are some fake Ghostface.
There's
Because I
some
feel like
fake
he does have
Ghostface.
a knife,
He
and he does
does.
like
Yeah.
he attacks
Okay.
her, like he lunges at her, and she like does this cool movement where she slides
But the
underneath his arm.
The reason I
Yeah.
think it's not because it kind of like it. She runs away. The bell rings, and it's kind of like you know,
and then it's
music
just like that
plays.
scene's done, and it's
and,
like, well,
and they've
Yeah.
like sent school early. They've closed school
Yes, it
early,
has.
I think. And they're
Yes.
like, is it Halloween
that's
night
valid.
or it's not?
No, well, they closed the school because
Murder.
Yeah, the murder.
they were just waiting.
'Cause there's a murder on
like
the
a
loose.
week
Yeah.
or two
Yeah.
before they
they're
did
just
that.
like, we should probably do that. And then there's
Yeah.
a really great little throwback to Nightmare on Elm Street with like
Haven't seen
Principal Henley Winkler like sticks his head out, and there's like a janitor there, and he's wearing like the Freddy sweater, and he's just moving. And it is exactly like the scene that's in A Nightmare on Elm Street with the janitor's
Yeah.
wearing a sweater. You had to be there.
Yeah.
Anyways, so it's a very great throwback to Wes
And
Craven.
his name's
because-
Freddy. He's just
and his
like,
name's
not
Freddy.
you, Freddy.
It's like,
Sorry.
Aw.
thanks, Wes Craven, for adding a reference to your own movie in there. That's
Right.
fantastic.
All right. What's the point of
Um,
being a big director if you can't just,
Right?
talk yourself
Interject
up and
yourself,
put
yeah.
your own movies in your own movies?
Yeah.
So the principal goes back to his office, and I have to say, I do really appreciate the fact that the principal has a closet of his own suit and ties in his office for like
He's
costume changes
prepared.
throughout the day.
Yeah.
I guess
Why are you
He seems like the
doing
type.
it?
he seems like the type.
Well, I mean, it was the 90s, so all teachers were
Stop.
hard asses who just lived at the school.
Will stop, justifying everything by saying it was the 90s.
Exactly. It
We
was
were
the
so
90s.
different
Yeah.
then.
Murder was,
Murder
it
was
on fleek.
fine.
Yeah.
Teachers
Fine.
had suits in the closet.
Right.
Take it away, Zach.
Well, back in the 90s, everyone was having a good time. The teachers could do anything, and they did it all the time. They had cell phones and things, and the principals walked around and they said, do what I say or I'll put you in the ground. Maybe it was the principal who was the killer.
I like that we do this because it just reflects how poorly Zach's been paying attention to what was immediately being said.
I'll be honest. Once
Are you
you get
serious?
past the vodka, the oat milk, it makes it go down a lot quicker.
It does.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Kelly.
So
there's a party. There's a big party going to happen. Oh, wait,
Yes.
no.
Oh, wait.
Henry
what?
Winkler.
Henry Winkler.
yeah,
Henley.
so
Henley
Henley.
Winkler.
Henley Winkler.
Yeah. So he's back in his office. He's got the ghost face mask on. He's playing around with it because he confiscated it from the students who were like terrorizing Sydney.
The
And
injects.
then he hears knocking at the door and he goes to investigate it. And he doesn't see anyone. He goes back into his office and there's Ghostface behind
Come
his
on.
door.
Oh,
and he
behind the
attacks
door.
him.
What
Yes.
the
And he gets
hell?
killed. And the stakes are immediately higher because now it's not just reckless teens getting killed, it's adults
That's
too.
not-
Jeez.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Anyone could die.
The
Yeah.
plot thickens.
Teens aren't important,
But
but
so they've
adults.
That's a real dilemma.
that's a danger zone, friend. So school is out for summer. School is out forever,
For the
according to
summer.
the songs that they are playing,
Yeah.
blasting
Yeah.
from the rooftops.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, murder. We can't do school no
Yeah.
more. Get the hell out of here,
But these
kids.
kids
Yeah.
are dumb, so they're like, murder on the loose. Let's have a
Party.
huge party where all of us are in one house.
Yeah, specifically Stu, who is like the boyfriend of Tatum and friends with Sydney.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, let's have a party to celebrate all this murder.
Yeah.
And my
No.
friend like almost dying.
Come on.
And so,
Essentially.
like, there's a scene where like they're in a video store because it's the 90s, so video stores were the height of cool.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
it Blockbuster or is it just a video store?
I think
It's
it's,
just a
like a
video
video
store,
store
yeah.
because
Machine.
because Randy works there, and I don't think Randy would
Yes.
work at a Blockbuster. He seems like a more like independently owned type
Indeed.
of
Also,
fella.
can I say I
Yeah.
love? I don't know anything that Jamie Kennedy shows up in. Like as a side, not Jamie Kennedy movies, but when he's in
when he
movies,
like appears.
yeah, when he's
He
in them,
shows
I,
up.
I love him. Not
He's
his
great.
movies. I will never watch Malibu's Most Wanted again. But like when
I
he's in
knew
a
that was
movie,
the thing.
I
He
like
He
him.
likes it.
He's
like
so wistful.
Romeo and Juliet, Romeo plus Juliet. He's awesome.
Oh shit! I
Right.
forgot he was in that.
He is. Yeah,
We talked about it.
we did talk about.
Do I remember?
Aside, Randy gets it. He understands. He's like, horror movies. You watch them, you understand what's going on. If it gets too complicated, you lose your target audience.
Yeah.
Movies
And-
are, yes.
So, and Billy and Matthew Lilliard's character, Stu, are also there. He's talking to Stu. He's looking over at Billy, and Billy is standing in the horror section, and Randy is like, Psh, you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
He's like standing in the horror section, like wanted for murder.
Yeah.
That's not smart.
Dude has a cell phone. He's in the
Right.
horror section. Suspicious.
Sus.
Okay?
Yeah.
So sus.
And Stu is like, oh, lay off of him. Like, he's just chilling. He's not a murderer. Like,
just
how do we
being
know
his
you're not the
authentic-
murderer, Randy?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, and also we also realized that Randy has a crush on Sydney too. So he
Yes.
kind of like wants to get Billy out of the
Out of the
thing.
picture.
Ew.
Yeah.
Throw him in jail and date his girlfriend.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's
That's what most guys
it's
do.
But then-
something you could do.
Billy confronts him very suspiciously. He
So-
says he's
Yeah,
very like
very
eloquent with his like
What does he do?
I don't know. He's very like threatening, but like
Yeah,
in a
no,
kind
yeah.
of
Very
like
threatening.
charming and like almost
Sensual.
yeah, not maybe
Yeah.
Sensual and spooky.
Yeah. He's just like, I'm gonna threaten you ever so slightly, so you know that you're terrified, but you
Yeah.
kind of turned on at the same time. Maybe
Right.
Yeah.
it's one of those.
He has
Yeah.
a way with
I'm
words.
so
He has a way
weirdly
with words.
aroused.
Sexual thriller, sensual killer.
Good.
So we're at the party. We'll fast forward to the
Oh.
party. Oh,
Yeah.
one more thing.
One more thing.
One more thing.
Dewey goes to talk to the chief of the police, and the
Yes.
chief of the police tells him
Yes.
that they traced the calls that were coming to Sydney and, I think just Sydney's phone. And they
Mhm.
were coming supposedly from Sydney's father's phone.
Mhm.
Oh, what?
And then he's
Missing.
also like, it's the year to the date. So now he's also
Yeah.
saying like the father
Yeah.
murdered the mother,
And he's gone
and
on
he's now the killer.
business.
Yeah, he's gone away. Yeah,
Suspish.
suspicious.
Super suspish. So don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
So we're
All
at
right.
Stu's
We're at the
house.
party.
Is it Stu's house?
Stu's party.
Stu's house. Yeah,
Yeah.
Stu's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Playing
Country
the
home. They all live out in the
grungiest.
middle of nowhere. All these kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which
Fucking
by the way,
idiots.
you can rent that house on Airbnb. They're doing like a 4-night stay where like
I would
apparently
literally never.
the home is set
fucked
up
up.
with like a dedicated phone line to reach Ghostface, and guests arrive
Oh my
when they
God.
arrive. They get like a virtual greeting from David Arquette as Deputy Dewey at
Wow.
check-in. It's like a whole thing they're doing for Halloween. It's like this whole big
Ew,
thing.
now I
That's
want to
fun.
go.
Which is it's kind of
Maybe
adorable. I kind of love
die.
it. Yeah.
Work.
There's like
Yeah.
there's a Ghostface stained glass window and everything in there too. It's great. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
The
It's
fuck?
gorgeous.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Book it.
Road trip.
Next
We should be
Halloween,
there right
we're gonna
now.
live stream from that house.
Yeah.
There we go.
We'll all
So-
die.
Okay, so they are
at
at
the
the party
party.
and they're dropped off by Dewey. Dewey is going to stay and watch the party, make sure, nothing's happening because Sydney is a hot topic right now.
Right.
Gail Weathers also shows up and she is kind of flirting with Dewey at this point.
Throughout the
And-
whole movie,
yeah,
actually.
throughout the whole
movie.
movie, yeah. And it's kind of like she's trying to like
Which
get
when
in
they
the
get
know,
married
but
was,
also, yeah.
it's a little they're flirting
Yeah,
in real
we're
life too.
flirting.
Oh,
Yeah.
So-
So Dewey wants to go investigate the party, and Gail is like, "Oh, how can I come?" And like he has a huge crush on her,
So
so
he's like-
she's like, "Oh yeah, totally, like no problem, like come with me." And so
Also, we
they
haven't
go.
mentioned this yet, but Gail absolutely just abuses her cameraman, calls him a fat.
Oh, yeah.
fuck.
Oh yeah, Kenny.
Kenny, yeah.
Oh,
Kenny.
the cameraman.
Kenny the cameraman. She's so mean to him.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
Take it away,
I
Zach.
hate Courtney Cox.
Poor Kenny, he takes all this shit. Poor Kenny, and he just gets hit and hit. But she keeps yelling at him, and he doesn't do anything about it. Poor Kenny, you gotta stand up for yourself.
So
Took a second because I was still singing "Sexual Healing" in my head.
So they go into the party, Gail and Dewey, and Dewey's like talking to the people, and Gail sneakily sneaks a camera underneath the TV so that she can watch the party goers,
Oh,
like from the
yes.
camera, the truck that she has
A
with Kenny.
candid
in the
camera.
van with Kenny.
Yeah.
But as
Meanwhile,
we find out shortly after, there is a delay between the camera and the TV, so that is the thing to
15
know.
seconds or so.
Yes.
Baby.
Probably
Yeah.
the delay, the same delay that's on this stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, Bri,
Yes.
So someone's going to
meanwhile,
come in and murder us.
Don't say that.
Matthew Lilliard's character asks his girlfriend Tatum to go get him a beer. So Tatum goes into the empty garage to fetch the beers, and she's got like 10 or so beers around, and then the garage door closes mysteriously behind her. So then she's carrying all these beers, and she goes up to the door, won't open. So she's like, great. So she decides that she's going to go open the garage and go underneath the garage door. She opens the garage door, goes up to it. It starts closing when she tries to go through it. Looks around. Ghostface is there holding the garage door button.
He's very good at hiding behind a door and then appearing.
yes.
Yeah.
So there is a fight scene where, like, because Tatum is kind of feisty and spunky, so like they fight.
It's very sarcastic.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
throwing
She's also, like,
throwing
flirting
beer
with him
bottles.
at
She's like,
first,
kill
before she,
me
you know,
then.
yeah.
Bet
Yeah,
you won't.
yeah.
No,
Literally.
she's like, oh, can I be your helpless victim?
Yes.
What a
Because she
little
thinks it's a
bitch.
joke.
Because it's Rose McGowan and she thinks it's
Yeah.
a joke and she doesn't understand that because it's a party. She's like, oh, this is just a person in costume.
Girl,
But 'tis
you
not.
need to have,
Until he
like, a
cuts her
sense.
arm.
He cuts her arm and then she's like, oh shit. And so she runs off and she's like, oh, there's a cat door in the garage. I'm going to crawl
Stop.
out that.
You
So
can't
she
be
goes
that
to crawl through the
small.
cat door.
She
And
gets
because
stuck, right?
she
A
gets
fucking
stuck.
cat door? Because it's
Yeah.
a fucking
Because
cat
it's a
door.
fucking
She
cat
gets
door.
stuck.
She gets
Tiny,
stuck.
though,
And it's like a big
It's a
cat
fucking
door.
cat
It's like
door.
it's like
It's
a big
cat
one.
door, yeah.
It's a big
Like
cat door.
she could almost fit through it.
There's
I
only
feel.
cat or dog doors. If it's
It's
a
like-
big cat door, maybe it's a dog door.
It is
okay,
a dog
we'll say
door,
it's
but
dog
you
door.
see a cat going through,
Go through it.
So,
Yeah. So.
Or Rose McGowan
No,
is the
either
size
way-
of a cat.
No.
Either way, it doesn't matter because she can't fit through
Dumb
it. And
bitch
then,
gets
She gets stuck,
Ghostface.
and as the
Fucking
door,
idiot.
yeah, Ghostface,
What a
presses the
fucking
button
idiot.
again.
I don't even
the
care.
garage door starts going up. She's stuck in the
Stupid ass.
door. Her head.
gets because it's the 90s. There's no safety protocols. It's like
Yeah.
lasers stopping things from
Yeah,
running
right.
things over. They're just like, oh, who cares?
What a
People will be
dumb
fine.
No
So
one's
they
going to try to
just- it's a-
crawl through this that isn't a
Yeah,
cat.
that
Right.
wouldn't
Or
be a thing
dog,
ever.
small
So
dog.
that's how she dies. Is she gets like crushed by the garage door, and it's kind of silly.
Creative.
It is a little silly.
It is a little creative.
It's so silly that they pretty much do the exact same joke in Scary, like the exact
Yeah.
same death in Scary Movie, almost exactly, except for a couple
yeah,
other
they're
things.
like,
But like,
this is-
it's
I
that's
can
why
reuse
it's
this.
silly.
I mean, it's not like the most serious movie. Like, it's definitely like a comedic movie.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But so Billy, we're back inside.
Yeah.
Billy shows up at the front door, and Sydney's like, I didn't want him to be here.
Right.
And he like immediately apologizes. He's like, Sydney, let's go upstairs to talk. We need to go talk.
yeah.
So
and
they go
Matthew
upstairs.
Lilliard is like, you guys trying to
Use
it?
my parents' bedroom. Go
Yeah.
for it, guys. So he apologizes. She apologizes. He's still low key obsessed with horror movies because he keeps making all these like references to like how their relationship is like a movie. And it's like, okay, calm down.
And she
That
keeps
needs to
saying, I'm
chill.
so sorry that I have so much PTSD. I know it's like really hard for our relationship that my mother was raped and murdered, but like
Yeah.
I know I really need to get
Can you
over
forgive
that.
me?
Yeah. But then she also like takes agency and Sydney fucking gets it. She's like, you know what? I'm not going to be like every other horror movie. I'm going to get her done. And
Oh,
she
yeah.
gets
She
down
gets
and
it down.
dirty.
There you go.
And
Yeah. Meanwhile, all the kids downstairs are watching Halloween, and
Mhm.
Randy is going off about
Oh.
all of the horror movie
the
rules.
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 Rule number one.
You can
You
never
cannot
have
have
sex. Sex
Yes.
is death.
Yes.
If you are not a virgin,
You hear that?
are getting gutted.
Right.
Yep.
Getting gutted.
Yeah. Idiots.
Rule
Zach.
number 2.
When you
Oh. That's the song.
I was gonna say when you get that. It's too.
Sorry,
that's what I was.
Fine.
Okay.
Don't do sex.
Rule number 2.
Rule number 2, you can
Number
never
2.
drink or do drugs. It's a sin, and it's an extension of number 1, which is
Right.
it is death.
Yes.
Rule number 3 is never say I'll be right back because you won't.
Oof.
Mhm.
You'll never
And then
be right
Matthew
back.
Lilliard goes to get a beer, and he's like, "I'll be right back." Yeah.
So Dewey and Gail, we're jumping ahead a little bit. Dewey and Gail are like walking down the road, and these teens are like leaving the party, and they're running recklessly. And Gail and Dewey almost get run over by the reckless teens, but they like jump to the side of the road.
Because the reckless teens find out that their principal was found murdered and strung up on the football field, and they're like, "We got to go look at this because they're psychopaths."
Yeah,
Right.
they're all
Fucking
terrible
insane.
children. Yeah.
No,
So-
honestly.
So they jump out of the way, and like Dewey like romantically removes Gail's headband. And then kisses her, and it's really
they
funny.
just happen to fall so
Yeah.
that they're like on top of each other.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
Like
again,
in
Simba
this
and
ditch.
Nala.
Yeah,
laying
but
in
like
the-
again,
in the field.
romantically removes her headband in slow motion. It's
So
like, really?
weird.
That's the motion.
That's
we're
what does
taking?
it.
That's what does
Gail
it.
and Dewey
Yeah.
are virgins prior to this.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
so they make out a little bit, and then they find Sidney Prescott's dad's car
Oh
in
no.
the
Stored
woods.
away in the forest.
Stored away in the forest by this party, and they're like, "Ooh,
Mhm.
suspicious."
Oh fuck.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, suspicious.
Yeah. And so, and they find out and they're like, oh my God. And they're running back to the house because they're like, the killer's here. Because at this point, Dewey
Pretty
thinks
positive.
so far, pretty positive that the killer is her father.
Shit,
Pretty
man.
confident.
That's fucked
In a
up.
house full of teens, the
Yeah.
prime targets.
He loves
And
killing
s-
teens.
So Sydney, meanwhile, is back with Billy post coitus.
Yeah, she's
And-
getting dressed, and the
Mhm.
first thing she says is when he was in prison, who did he use his phone call for? Like his one phone call, like heavily insinuating that he may have been the one to call her when she got that phone call when he was in prison.
And he's like, "What do I have to do to prove to you that I'm not the killer?" And then the
Yeah.
killer comes up from behind him and like stabs him a whole bunch.
Shut the fuck up.
Fucking belly.
Mhm.
Boom, boom, boom.
Boom.
Done.
And, like,
And then he falls dramatically on the bed.
That's
Yeah,
all,
and
baby.
Sydney-
That's all you had to do.
Yeah.
Sydney
Now
probably
I
feels
believe
real
you.
bad about it. Yeah.
So she runs down the stairs, not up this time.
Down the stairs. She did it. Good girl.
Yeah.
She's actually pretty capable and she's running, but like this
The
whole,
killer.
I feel like every single sequence with Sydney and Ghostface is just like a constant game of like, how fast can she close and lock a door?
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
Because like she's constantly like running through and like closing and locking a door at the last second and like closing and locking a door at the last second. And like that's the
Classic.
majority of their
That should be
chase
like rule
scenes.
number 5. Like, please train yourself to lock doors.
Right.
Yeah,
Close and
lock doors quickly.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
always
yeah.
close and lock a door. So she's running away, Bri.
Well, she does go upstairs, I think, because she's locks a door and then she's like going out the window and she's on the second floor and Ghostface like comes to the window and he like tosses her out the window, but she like conveniently falls on this truck that has like padding in the back of it.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
She gets off the truck and she very unfortunately sees her dead friend's body hanging from the garage door
Right.
still.
Mm.
Yeah.
she
Yeah, because
did.
she's just been dead while there's still the party going
No
on. This
one's
is
been
before
hanging there.
Ghostface.
She
like,
and the
Just
best part of
hanging
that
there.
is she was getting like 8 beers, so people are sitting
Right.
there waiting for
You're
beers.
like,
And they're
"Where's
like, where
my
the
beer?"
fuck is she?
yeah.
So and meanwhile, we snap back inside for a second, and like Randy's lying down on the couch watching Halloween, and he's like yelling at the screen. He's like, "Behind you! Look behind you!" And then like Ghostface is like coming up behind him, and it's like a very meta moment of like him yelling at the screen and the audience yelling at the screen,
Yeah,
being
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Randy, you dumb shit!" And it's a whole big
Yeah.
thing.
Cute.
But right before Ghostface attacks him, Ghostface hears Sydney screaming from outside. So he goes to find Sydney.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, Gail Weathers and the camera person, or maybe just the camera person, is watching the feed of Ghostface about to like get Randy. And
Oh.
he, I think Sydney comes into the van at this point and they're
Mhm.
watching that happen.
Oh.
They want to go warn Randy about it. So they're like exiting the truck. Then remember that there's a 15-second delay and see that the front door is already open. So the cameraman steps out. As soon as he steps out of the car, he gets slashed by
Come
the
on.
Ghostface killer.
They
Take it
killed
away, Zach.
Kenny.
Mhm.
Randy.
Kenny.
Candy. Candy?
Kenny. Kenny.
Kenny.
They
Kenny.
killed Kenny, you bastard.
They killed Kenny. Oh my God, they killed Kenny. He got slashed because of that 15-second delay. He got kicked in the ass.
Nice.
Vague rhymes.
I should also note at some point Sydney gets stabbed in the shoulder, and
She
as she's
does.
running away, she's limping.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a-
Yeah.
Interesting.
your
sense.
shoulder bone's
That makes
connected
sense.
to the leg
It's the
bone.
90s, Kelly.
It's everything
It's
is
the
connected.
90s.
It's the 90s. So Sydney's hiding in the car and she like radios to the cops being like, hey, shit's happening. Come please. And Ghostface has the key to the car. And so she runs outside the car and she goes into the house. And like Randy and Stu are both like, outside, like, it was him, shoot him, please stop him.
Yeah.
It's a thing. And she goes, fuck you both. And she closes the door and runs inside in a moment of like pure smartness.
Yeah.
And Billy's there.
Billy falls dramatically down the stairs,
Very
like
dramatic.
in the process of like he's wearing a white t-shirt, like, and it's completely just
So
like
bloody.
soaked in blood. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's like he falls down the stairs, and then he's like, Sydney. And then Sydney, or Billy convinces Sydney to give him the gun because she takes it off of Dewey, who's passed out in front of the door because he also got stabbed.
Yeah.
And
Stabbings.
Yeah.
Stabby
Billy
stab.
gets the gun. Billy opens the front door, lets in Randy, and then
What the fuck?
he
Nice.
turns around and points the gun at Randy.
Plow,
And
plow.
then,
Shoots him.
Shoots him.
Yep.
Okay.
Like
He
once,
shoots him
once.
and he says a line from Psycho.
Yes.
Yeah, we all go a little mad sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. So
Why?
we find out that like A, Billy's okay, and B, Billy's the killer,
What the fuck?
and
Bruh.
C, Stu is also the killer. They've
They're
been
both the
teamsies.
killers.
Yep.
There's a
Mhm.
twist. It's two of them, not
Who's
just
Stu
the one.
again?
Stu is Matthew Lillard,
Shaggy.
the guy that owns the house that they are partying
I thought he
in.
got stabbed in the stomach.
No, Billy got
that
stabbed in the
was, that was
stomach.
Billy.
Who was also the
So-
killer.
Who's the killer? Yeah.
He was also the killer.
Billy got
Motherfucker
stabbed in the
was
stomach?
Billy got stabbed in the
No,
stomach, but they're like,
it was
he
a fake
didn't
knife.
really. He's like, it's a fake knife,
So
and they
it's-
had like corn
yeah,
syrup
he
for
goes,
the
he
blood.
goes, he
yeah.
takes
They're
it, and he
friends.
goes like,
They're buds.
corn syrup, baby. Like,
Yeah,
oh.
yeah.
What the fuck?
Billy.
Yeah.
Classic
Yeah, and
Billy.
then-
Oh,
Yeah.
skeet.
Sydney
Okay.
runs into the kitchen. That's where Stu is, and he's got the voice changer, and he's like, "Hello, Sydney.
Yeah, they have a little voice
Mm.
changer box.
Surprise, Sydney."
So twists. Billy's
Yeah.
the killer. Stu's the killer. Billy killed Sydney's, I forgot her name, Sydney's mom.
Mother,
A
yeah,
year
We
ago.
find
raped
out
her?
because she
No.
was
Oh.
cheating on
maybe.
she was cheating on Billy's dad's
father.
mom.
No, she
with
was
Billy's
fucking
dad.
Billy's
She was
She was
dad.
fucking
yeah.
Billy's
Yeah.
dad. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
Billy's mom left and he like never got over it. And he's like, well, I'm just gonna kill her instead.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because
Psychotic.
divorce. It's
Yeah.
dramatic.
Yeah. So
That's
Cotton
how he
is
deals with
innocent.
His trauma.
Cotton is
Oh.
innocent. Gail
Okay.
was right.
Darn.
Take it away, Zach.
Wait.
It's fine. We don't need. He can't keep track.
We'll just say Cotton was innocent.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right, we'll come back. We'll
I've
come back.
made a
to you.
huge
We'll come back to
mistake.
it.
So yeah, then they're like laying out their plan to Sydney and saying that they planned this all to be on exactly the day of her mother's
God.
death,
What a bunch of
so that they could frame the murder on the father,
Yeah,
Sydney's
Yeah.
father, and then they bring out Sydney's father.
tied up.
But
Tied
why? Why do they want to?
Well,
Hurt
so
him.
that's a
They
big
want
thing because he's like,
revenge.
well, first, like
But what
Billy's
did
like,
he
there doesn't
do?
need to be a
A motive,
a
yeah.
motive, or he can
Right.
just be psycho. But then he does say because her mother cheated on him. But then Stu is just psycho. Stu
Yeah,
is
'cause they're
actually
like-
just psychopathic.
They're like,
But-
it's a lot scarier when there's no motive, and then they explain the motive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And then
And then the big,
And
the,
they're
one
all-
of the big lines is like, because like Sydney goes like, you guys have been watching too many scary movies.
Mhm.
movies
He goes-
don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
Yeah. And then after that, there's this great sequence where, so that they don't look like they're guilty, they decide that Billy and Stu are going to stab each other, so
Mhm.
that
Fuck.
they're like they look
I
like they were attacked by
fucking hate
Ghostface,
this.
but they weren't like killed. So they're
This
like
is
trying to stab each other and like not killing
Each other.
Yeah.
location.
Sure.
But they're also like, please stop stabbing me. Like, this is too much. I'm losing a lot of blood here.
Yeah.
Right.
Stu's like, I'm dying, man. And it's
Yeah.
it's very dramatic.
What the
Yeah, and
fuck?
Because
And
they
it's,
have to look like they're real. Yeah.
Yeah.
They just actually stab each other.
Yeah.
And then Billy tells Stu to go get the gun so that they can kill Sydney and kill the father. Stu goes over to where they left the gun. Gun's not there.
Gun
So
gone,
So
baby.
Stu's like, the gun's
Oopsie.
gone. This is not good. And then, bam, Gail Weathers is there.
Come on.
She's got the gun.
What a
And she
crazy
points the
thing.
gun at them and she starts laying out her plan to foil their plan and save the day.
Mhm.
But
And get a Pulitzer.
yeah, one tiny thing that trips her up though is that she can't figure out how to turn the safety off. So
Okay.
Billy kicks her once and she's unconscious from that.
Yeah.
And then takes the gun.
Yeah.
That was quick.
And
Very
then
It was.
they turn around and realize that Sydney is missing. So they
She
start
goes-
searching the house for Sydney. They're looking around. Then the phone starts ringing. So they pick
Come
up the
on.
phone. Yeah. And Sydney starts talking through the voice changer at them like she is the Ghostface kind of thing. But
Yeah.
she's like, you guys are going to fucking jail.
Yeah,
Like, I
called
told
the
the police
cops.
everything. Like,
Right.
you're never going to find me. So
And
they're like
there's a
running around the house.
Great line. She like when like Stu is like he's like I'm feeling a little woozy and he's like dying and then Sydney's there and he's like Sydney or he's on the phone with Sydney. And he's like,
Yeah.
did you really call the cops? And she's like yes. He's like my mom and dad are gonna be so angry at me. It's a great line.
It's
He's
a
just
great
dying.
line.
No, it
Yeah.
is so good. Yeah. And Matthew
Man.
Lillard like makes it so good.
Sells
Like he has
it.
such raw manic energy in this scene. It's
Oh,
great.
yeah.
Mhm. It's
Yeah.
so good.
Okay.
But so
So-
Sydney is fighting them, and she comes in and she's sort of like she's rescued her dad. We see he's tied up. She's fighting. She like fights Stu, and she like throws
She
a
jumps
TV
out
on
of
his
a
head.
closet.
Yes.
She jumps
Oh,
out of
yeah.
a closet and with the Ghostface mask and stabs Billy with an umbrella.
Yeah,
What?
yeah,
That's
because they're
Sharp
dangerous. And then
They are, yeah,
she,
very
yeah, so
pointy.
she drops a TV on Stu's head, and he's finally in the movies, and she kills him.
Yeah.
Oh,
And-
baby.
Take it away,
Dun,
Zach.
dun, 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 dun.
Careful with your umbrellas, they're really sharp. If you give it to your baby, that might stab itself, and you don't want that. You don't want a stabbed baby.
All right, you took it in a
Interesting
weird way,
turn.
but all right.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm doing the best I can.
Apparently.
Maybe you shouldn't take the next drink.
so
there-
once again, Billy not dead again. So he comes out, he
God.
attacks Sydney again. He tackles her and he says, "Say hello to your mother," and is about to stab her when Gail Weathers comes in clutch once again with the gun and shoots him.
Oh,
She figured it out.
bitch.
She
Yeah, she
figured
did.
out
While
where
she
the
was-
safety was. Yep.
Yeah.
So then her, Sydney, and Randy are all standing around. the
Because
dead-
Randy's okay. We
Yeah,
find
Randy's
out.
was also
in that
Randy's
situation,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Randy's fine.
Randy's
Exactly.
fine.
So they're all standing around the dead Billy, and Randy says, "Careful, this is the moment when the supposedly dead killer comes back for one last scare."
I can't.
And then he does. He goes, "What?"
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Billy goes,
And then, yeah.
And that's it?
And then Sydney
No.
immediately shoots him in the head. And she
Nice.
says, "Not in my movie."
Mhm.
Okay, bitch.
honestly,
And
I
then-
feel like that line needed a button like motherfucker.
Yeah. Needed a little like
Wow.
Sam Jackson thrown on it
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
just
then we, like-
replace that actress with Sam Jackson in a wig. to say
Just
the
for
line.
that one line,
Yeah.
no
Just
other
cuts it.
scene,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
the
yeah,
one
yeah.
line. Yeah. So then we cut back and Gail's reporting on everything. She's like all bruised up and bloody and beaten, and she's reporting on the story. And like Kenny's dead, but she's got other camera people, and she's bossing around. And like she's actually kind of cool for a change. Or like Gail,
Yeah.
you're doing you. You're gonna like get that Pulitzer, girl.
Yeah,
Mm.
she's a boss
Yeah.
bitch.
And yeah, then we do credits, and it's like some crazy font from Microsoft Word.
Oh my
that
god, the
we've
fonts are
seen.
crazy.
It's
I
bad,
love
yeah.
that. It's one of those where they have like the actors' faces and then like
And
their
they're like,
actor
Oh,
names.
yes.
I love
One of
that
those
shit.
things
So good.
where they like turn and have like a reaction moment, and they're like,
Oh my god, yes.
yeah, one of those.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Lovely.
But
Yep.
like Kevin Williamson, who wrote this, because Wes Craven didn't write it, he also wrote "I Know What You Did Last Summer," which is another classic
What?
90s teen horror cycle.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Oh,
And
we talked about this actually. I remember this.
we
on one
did,
of our
yeah,
podcast
one of our episodes. But Kevin Williamson is like he's an MVP of this movie because like it's the fact that it's so meta and so clever and so well done, and Wes Craven did a bang up job making it be a thing. So A+ to everyone all around.
I love this movie. Olenka, what
So great.
did you think of this movie?
A little confusing, a little infuriating, a little annoyed.
Who
by
did
it.
you think originally was going to be the killer?
The dad. Not originally, but when we started getting into it, I was like, okay, yeah, maybe it was the dad.
He tricked you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dad's a red herring.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Which is a line in the
If
movie
his name
also.
was Harry, he'd be a red Harry. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Harry Prescott.
Got hit by the red Harry for sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is a real visual for me. I want to see the
Ooh, yeah.
8 meters of guts go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how many stabbed umbrella babies do you give this movie?
Honestly, for the gigs, I would say like 8 stabbed umbrella babies.
Nice.
Like you laid out
That's
10
pretty
and
good.
gave them 8 stabs.
There you go.
Stabbies. Well, I hate that. I
Nothing
fucking
makes
hate
this
that you
joke.
do that.
I know you do. That's why I do it.
Fuck.
Well,
Because
Thank you.
friendship.
Yeah.
Kelly and Bri, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming
coming on
to
this
the
live streamed
stream.
episode. First time we've
Thank
ever
you for
live streamed like a
inviting
whole
us.
episode
Yeah,
talking about a movie.
I know.
So,
Thank you for having us.
thank
I think
you.
we did like just the right timing for this. We
You
kind of
did.
clocked in
Fuck
at just the
yeah.
right moment.
Yeah, it's all
Awesome.
good. If people want to listen to you guys, follow you, where can they find it? I'm going to put it on the bottom, but please tell us.
We are available on all the apps, anywhere that you can get an app that streams stuff. Spotify, Apple Music, Google.
Other things.
Yes, and if you want to follow us, we are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd, and we're on all of those at Murmurs from the Morgue, except for Twitter, we are at Morgue Murmurs.
Yep. And you can also
Nice.
find us writing at ihorror.com, where we both contribute reviews and editorials, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you can also find us there. That's sort of our parent company that sponsors our podcast, and we are forever grateful to them.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, we are.
Oh,
And we are grateful to you guys for letting us be
Yes.
on here.
This is so much fun. Thank you guys
for
so
joining
much.
us. Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
thank you.
If you want to follow us, you can follow us on
You'll hear it a
Instagram at Haven't Seen a Podcast and Twitter, haven't_seen_it, and Facebook, Haven't Seen a Podcast. We also have a website, haven'tseenapodcast.com. There you can find all the movies a link it hasn't seen. We are coming on in about 15 to 20 minutes with
Again.
Kristen Zaza of the On a Dark Cold Night podcast,
Yeah.
talking about Interview with the Vampire. So keep tuning in if you're tuning in live, or if you're listening to this, you're going to have to listen to it next week.
Yeah.
And yeah, what do you
I
say,
see
like
what you're doing. Oh, on that note, make sure that like you always answer phone calls, even if it's like no caller display, and make sure that like when you do, you like run up the stairs. That's all.
And
Yes.
keep an eye on your Jiffy Pop.
Yeah.
Yes,
Don't let
yes,
the
that's the
Jiffy Pop
most
get you.
important lesson here, I
Super
feel.
important.
Yeah.
Don't burn your
Watch your
Jiffy Pop.
popcorn.
Yeah.
All right, take it away, Zach.
Alenka doesn't know what happened in this movie, and she doesn't know what happened in this movie. It was really confusing. There was 2 killers, and she had to find a gun that she didn't know how to use. Courtney Cox did. I think that was Gail, right? That was Gail? It was Gail.